Welcome back, peasants. We're here to experience the truth about the birth certificate fraud, the straw man, and why we all should be paid out about 100 mil each. Where our abundance at? Let's get it. Now, what are we talking about last time? We spoke of the legalese and how the governments and the corporations are basically there to cheat you and rob you. So, for example, right, they would ask you, do you understand? And in English that means, do you comprehend what I am saying to you? And the automatic response would be, yeah, meaning, I do comprehend what you are saying to me. But these sneaky motherfuckers underhand people and have changed the meaning in legalese to mean, do you stand under me? Meaning, do you grant me authority over you so that you have to obey whatever I tell you to do? This sounded like a sub-dom relationship. What makes it even worse is the fact that they will never tell you that they have switched from English to legalese. And if that is not dishonest, underhand, and unscrupulous, then I don't know what is. If you answer the question believing that English is being spoken, then they pretend that you are contracting with them to become subordinate to them. Whether or not this is actually true is debatable because that is effectively a verbal contract between you and them. And for any contract to be valid, there has to be a full and open disclosure of all of the terms of the contract, and then unreserved acceptance by both parties. And in these cases, that has most definitely not occurred. But what is the point in all this? Well, this maneuver is intended to trick you into agreeing to represent your straw man. Why? Well, that is a good question. But to answer it takes a bit of explaining, and you need to understand the overall situation. All humans are born equal, with complete freedom of choice and action. If you live in the same place as a lot of other people, then there are a few restrictions which have grown up by common consent over time. And these restrictions are for your protection and the protection of the other people living near you. These restrictions are called the law, or more accurately, common law. And they are few in number and very easy to understand. They are, number 1, you must not injure or kill anyone. Number 2, you must not steal or damage things owned by somebody else. Number 3, you must be honest in your dealings and not swindle anyone. These restrictions have resulted from hundreds of years of disputes which have been dealt with through using common sense and the opinions of ordinary people. They are the only limitations on you, and if you don't want to abide by them, then you need to go to some isolated place and stay the fuck away from people, meaning the government trying to swindle us need to fuck off. Many people think that there are hundreds of other laws which they have to keep, and new ones every other day. But that is not so. Those other things are called statuettes, and keeping them is optional for you, the human, but they are not optional for your facetious straw man. And that is why the people who benefit from those things want to persuade you to represent your straw man, and so become subject to all of their invented restrictions and charges. If you knew that they were optional, would you actually agree to give most of your earnings away in taxes and similar charges? Pay to own a vehicle? Pay to own a television set. Fuck a television set, let's brick those. Pay to drive on roads which were built with your money. Be forced to join the armed services if you are told to. And send an army which is supposed to represent you into another country to murder innocent people there. Were you ever told that these things are optional? If you agree to represent your straw man, then these things become binding on you. These are some of the statuettes which politicians keep inventing in order to make you poor, make them and their friends filthy rich, and keep you in a position where you have to do everything they say, no matter how much that harms you and does away with your natural freedom and rights. Sounds like a load of shit to me. But, says somebody, right? Now, we elect a government to represent us, and so we have to do what they say. After all, they have our best interests at heart. Don't they? Well, that is a nice thought. But is it actually true? No, it isn't. You think that you elect politicians to represent you in your government, but that is not what you actually do. That is part of a very carefully fostered illusion intended to keep you in your place and giving most of your earnings away, typically 80% of all you earn. Part of the secret is that what is supposed to be your government is actually a privately owned for-profit company, and all that you do when voting is to help choose the serving officers inside that company. It will never make the slightest difference to what happens in the future, as the company policy and actions are controlled by the owners of the company, and they are not influenced in any way whatsoever by what you want. Damn, it's ingenious. Think this is far-fetched? Then check out via Dun & Bradstreet or any of the other places which record the setting up and performance of the 160 million commercial companies worldwide. When you do that, you will discover, for example, that the United States is a commercial for-profit company. Australia is a company. England is a company. New Zealand is a company. Canada is a company. The United States Corporation is a private company. The non-federal Federal Reserve Bank is a private company set up in the year 1913, as is every court and every police force and even Congress is a company and not a person. Just in case you are not aware of it, the purpose of any commercial for-profit company or corporation is to make money for its owners and shareholders, if there are any, probably Bill Gates. The people who you think of as the government don't do anything that earns money. They instead take money from you, and their main job is to make sure that you don't realize that they are in the same position as IBM, which takes away millions of your money every year. Bam! That ties into the Bill Gates, the IBM. I'm on fire. Meet you, Strawman. We're going to continue more tomorrow. I love you all. Freedom.